Welcome to the greatest podcast in sports betting entertainment. My name is Tanner Kern, certified G, bona fide stud, and you can't teach that. In this right here, this is G Money Grant Mitchell. It's the 4th of July, and we are breaking down everything you need to know in the sports world, especially the AFC East. A little preview today, and you can't teach that. Bada boom, man. People in the room. G Money Grant Mitchell, how you doing?
I'm feeling a little inquisitive. I was just sitting here thinking as you were doing the intro. I was thinking to myself, how many hot dogs could I eat in 10 minutes? Now, you playing football, being an offensive lineman, you know what it's like to eat. I famously once gained 70 pounds in 1 year when I first started lifting, and I bulked as hard as anyone's ever bulked before. I know how to eat. What do you think is the number you could hit? You get the glass of water, so like you can essentially turn it into a liquid and put it down. I genuinely think I could get to 20.
I think I could get to 20 without the water. Like, I don't think I would do the whole dunking thing. Like that would make it too disgusting for me. I wouldn't want to do that. I would just want to eat it. But I think if I just ate it, I could probably get 2 a minute. That's pretty hefty pace though, when you really think about it.
It is. So I think the technique would be 2 to 3 bites per dog. Like take 2 bites and then pour some water in the mouth, like swash it around a little, get it down. 20 would be steep. I would say the minimum, there's no doubt in my mind I could do 15.
I could do 15. 20 is probably pushing it a little bit just by like chewing and stuff. Cause I don't know if I would have the like, the approach down to like do that. It would be, I think 15 is a good number. My heartburn would be really bad after though.
So when you were eating all that crap you were eating to be 300 pounds, did you have indigestion? Did you have heart problems like that? Or was it normal?
What makes you think I was eating crap? I might have been eating good. Just
because you've told me about what your diet was back in the day.
Well, that was like when I got to college, I would eat like I'd eat Wawa sandwiches. I'd eat a pint of ice cream at night. Like, but that wasn't kind of how I got there. Like milk, bread, and butter is sort of how I got there. I had indigestion. I still have indigestion now. I think it just runs in me. But yeah, I think I had less indigestion then, honestly. But I do remember there'd be some nights where I'd be like up all night because like the pain, like just the heartburn was getting to me. Now I don't really have that as much, but still a little bit.
See, I never had that. I've always had a big stomach. I've always had the ability to open up like the second stomach too. Like, people joke around Thanksgiving dinner, dessert, whatever. I've always had that. Now, granted, I've never done something like this. The closest I got to it was I'm trying to remember the exact number. I think it was 24 Krispy Kreme donuts after I'd eaten a Chipotle burrito. That wasn't timed, but I did do that in one night.
Why?
So that was back when I was a freshman. I was running cross country. We moved in 2 weeks before everyone else. At the end of the first 2 weeks, which is supposed to be like your hell week, whatever, kind of like your conditioning, essentially. Now I'd gone in shape, so it didn't feel like a hell week to me. But we get to the end of the 2 weeks, and they gather up the seniors on the team, gather up all the freshmen. They say that we're doing the Krispy Kreme challenge. They drive us over to Chipotle, and I'm confused because how is this a Krispy Kreme challenge? And they say, go in there, get whatever you want. You just have to eat all of it. Doesn't matter what it is. So I walk in, get my little burrito, carnitas, double steak, something like that. And then after we finish, they drive us over to Krispy Kreme. We walk in, and every table in there is covered in donuts. And they say, sit down. You got to eat all of these. So we were in there for a few hours. And you were supposed to try to out-eat everybody. There was actually somebody who beat me. Somebody got to 31, which was a team record. I was second at 24. And if there had been a tie, there was a 1-lap race around the building. And if you threw up after, you were disqualified.
Well, that's actually like a cool challenge. I mean, you guys are all skinny too. You're all little skinny mini distance runners. So
we were skinny, but keep in mind, like, to be healthy and just to be able to sustain the amount of intense effort we were putting out there, we had to eat a ton. We were eating 5,000, 6,000, 7,000 calories a day.
Yeah. So like if I did that now, or even if I did the hot dog eating challenge now, hot dog contest, I would feel like it would just be so many calories. I would never want to do it. Like I would never go up there and say, like, for example, at my work, there was a contest where it's like, who can eat the most Chick-fil-A chicken strips? And I'm like, I would have won that thing in a minute. Like it would not have even been a competition, and I will stand on business, because like if I go into an eating challenge against like recreational eaters, I'm not going to lose. I can guarantee you that. But like as much as I wanted to do it, like why would I do it? Because it's pointless. What am I going to get? A little trophy? There's no monetary prize, and then I'm just like, wow, I feel like shit the next week because I did this, and I'm like, weight wise and all that. So I think I can safely say if I did it, I would have won, but like I would never just do it because it's pointless to the calories. It's not like Joey Chestnut getting a check off this today.
Yeah, back in college, so at Virginia Tech, I don't know if they have, I know there's more than one location. I don't know where those locations are, but there's a pizza shop called Benny's. And their pizzas, if your regular large pizza is, I don't know, 14, 16 inches, there's probably like a 28, 30-inch pizza. It's massive. It weighs like 5 to 7 pounds. And there's something called the Benny's Challenge, which is you have to get 2 toppings. Again, doesn't matter what the toppings are, but it has to be 2 of them, if not more. And you have to eat the entire pizza in an hour. And I never attempted it, even though I really wanted to. The closest I got to it was I was just out drinking with my buddies one night, had an awful lot to drink, and I ate 4 slices. And I ate it because I was hungry, like not as a challenge. I didn't get to the end and I was stuffed. And that was what put the thought in my mind that, hey, I could actually do this. And if you do it, you get your picture on the wall, you get like, $200, $300, whatever the case is. But I really thought about it, and it was like, I'm going to feel, like you said, I'm going to feel so bad. I'm going to be throwing up. I'm going to be on the toilet for the next 2 days. Do I really want to do this? Now, granted, college probably would have been the time to do it, so I'll probably never do it again. But I don't know. I have always been interested in trying one of those eating challenges.
Yeah, man versus food style eating challenges. Like I used to love that show. That show was great. And in America, Grant, that's the only place that you can do that.
So I have my dad has a cousin. I call him my cousin too because I try to figure out. Oh, did I just cut you off?
I was segueing it. Go ahead now.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. My dad has a cousin who's like 6'5", 350. He's actually lost a lot of weight, but at his biggest, he was like 350 pounds. And he was just a unit. And they were out on vacation. And I want to say they bumped into the man versus food guy. Either he had just been there or he was actually there with him. And they were doing this challenge, whatever. And I think it was somewhere in Alaska. And you had to eat a bunch of different seafood and bison, whatever. And my cousin beat the man versus food guy.
Pretty good. That's pretty good. That's awesome. I love that show. There were some challenges I would never want to do because I just didn't like the food, but there were some challenges on there like I would destroy this challenge. Like this wouldn't even be close. Like I wouldn't want to do the hot wing challenge. I wouldn't want to do any of that stuff. Like I want, how much food can I put down? It's food I gotta like,
I think right now I would be most equipped for a Chick-fil-A chicken nugget eat off. I think that's what I could do the best on.
I could do good there. I like that stuff. Like I saw one the other day. I don't know. BR Betting posted it. It was like two Five Guys hamburgers, like 2 large fries, like 2 Cokes and like 2 milkshakes. And it's like, you have to put this away in 45 minutes for $100 grand. I'm like, I would fuck that up.
For $100 grand, that's light work.
It wouldn't even be a question. But anyways, Grant, the United States of America is the only place that you can do eating challenges for fun like this and live a prosperous lifestyle doing these eating challenges. So today, it's the 4th of July. It's our 249th birthday. Next year's going to be a banger. But we're 249 today. So with that being said, you guys show up to the USA shows. This is what we do on the 4th of July. We, the people of the United States of America, started this great, prosperous land. We were British, and we said we didn't want to be British. We want to be Americans because this is the greatest country in the world. So we came over here, and we met the Pilgrims. No, we were the Pilgrims, and we met the Indians, and we had the first Thanksgiving. And after that, the British said, we want you back. We will take you back. And we said, we will not go back to be British. And then the Revolutionary War happened, and they stormed our country, and the British were coming, and we warned the people, and then we dumped their tea in the water, and we ended them because we are Americans, and that is what we do in America. Then fast forward later on, there were a lot of people who wanted to take over the world. Hitler, Mussolini, all these assholes. And all we did was go in there and whoop their ass and roar. And now we have the greatest military in the world. And now we can eat hot dogs on the 4th of July, as many as we can. And no other country can do that because we are Americans. And we beat every other country in our way because we are the greatest in the world. God bless America.
Amen.
That was pretty good. That was off top. That was off the top.
That was awesome. It was so good. It looked. I would believe you were on a teleprompter.
I'm a history major. I just came up with all that in my head. Just named random shit off. There's so much. I mean, this country is the greatest country in the world. There's so many things we can name off to talk about our history. I could have went to the fact that we get to play football and no other country plays football. And that's the greatest country in the world. Oh, you know what else we got to talk about too today? Did you see the gambling Luis Ortiz?
I did see that, Tanner. But one thing, I actually want to throw this in there while we're on the topic. One thing I'm very grateful for is WSN.com, home of the World Sports Network. That is the presenter of today's podcast. And if you guys are into sports betting in any shape or form, go on over there. You'll get insights, picks, previews from myself, Tanner, a team of experts. We've also got promo codes for different sports books to help you unlock bonus bets, profit boost, all that great stuff. It is there at WSN.com. Now tell us about what is going on up there in Cleveland.
Well, one more thing too, Hard Rock Sportsbook. That's a pretty big one. We're working with Hard Rock now too for WSN. So make sure you guys check that out. If you're in Florida, if you like Florida sports betting, Hard Rock's the way to go. It's the only way to go. So make sure you check that out too. That's linked up on the website, and make sure you subscribe to the podcast as well. Well, so in the gambling situation right now with Luis Ortiz, I will never understand it. How dumb some of these professional athletes are. And I don't know, like maybe they grow up in rough situations and they just can't escape it. I don't know what it is, but like if you gamble on your own sporting events, you are so dumb. We just had the one in basketball. Who was that last week in basketball?
Malik Beasley.
Malik Beasley during the bubble games is like sweating out plus 8.5 when the other team's at the foul line, and he's like sprinting down the court to dunk the ball, and like he had he was locked in. That was terrible. But at least he was betting on himself there. At least he was. Luis Ortiz, this is terrible. So there were 2 pitches that got flagged from the gambling commission or sports books. Like an insane, like if people are putting an insane amount of money on a single pitch, like the first pitch of the 3rd inning to be a ball, the alarms are going to go off. For the people that ever have any thought of getting involved in a gambling scheme like this, the alarms are going to go off if you put $100,000 on Luis Ortiz to throw a ball for the first pitch of his at bat. And then they're going to cross-check it with other sports books, right? Like, did you get a bet here? Did you get a bet there? All that. And funny enough, Grant, on DraftKings, looking at the insights the other day, like what would have been last night. Okay. And I don't know if this is just a coincidence or not. And obviously the gambling commission or the league cut him out. Luis Ortiz under 17.5 outs was the 3rd most bet MLB prop last night on DraftKings, even though he didn't pitch, but like that's what it would have been. So anyways, he spikes a ball. There were two pitches that got flagged. He spiked a ball and then he spiked the ball again. So there's people taking, or they at least think there's people taking him to throw a ball for the first pitch of the 3rd inning or the 2nd inning, whatever planned out inning it was going into it. Just stupid. And based on the pitches and what got flagged, he's guilty. Like he literally spiked the ball on the ground.
There's also a video, and there's a video of him throwing a strikeout, and someone yells an F-bomb. It's not the batter. You can't see Luis Ortiz at the time, so it's possible it wasn't him, but it does look like he was upset that he struck someone out, which also would not be good for his case.
It's just so dumb. So he's born in 99 too. And again, I'll say this. I'm going to look up his career earnings right now. I can't imagine they're super high. So there's no excuse either. Don't get me wrong. There's no excuse. But Malik Beasley has earned $2.2 million in his career. Like, not Malik Beasley, Luis Ortiz, 2.2 million. Malik Beasley had like $60 million.
60 million.
That's that. If you were involved in a gambling scheme making 60 million, I feel sorry for you. You genuinely have an issue. Here, if somebody came to him and was like, hey, we can get you in on this scheme, like 2.2 million in career earnings, maybe you're a little more inclined to it. But if you're doing it if you have 60 million in career earnings plus your endorsements or your sponsorship, you're dumb. You're simple. Luis Ortiz is stupid too. But at least you can make the case, well, he wasn't making a ton of money relative to some of these guys. Like somebody puts $100,000 on one pitch, that's a significant payday for him.
I mean, so listen to this Malik Beasley thing, because yes, this Luis Ortiz stuff is crazy. Probably if it is true, then it appears to be more blatant than Malik Beasley. But like, listen to some of the stuff that's going on with him. So he's being sued for $2.3 million by a marketing agency. He had a judgment go against him from a celebrity barber for $27,000. Had a judgment go against him for a dentist for $35,000. His landlord right now is currently suing him for rent of $14,000. Same landlord had already sued him for $7,500. He's got this gambling stuff going on. He had another situation where he took out essentially a loan from I think a marketing agency. He didn't have collateral to pay them back, so he said, "You can take my future NBA checks." Like, what are we doing? How I expect this. I'll say this. I expect this from a 20-something-year-old dating Larsa Pippen. That just threw my phone across the room. That completely adds up. A 20-year-old dating Larsa Pippen, I expect him to act like this. But to have made $60 million and you're in your 20s and you have to turn to gambling to pay off some of your losses, what are you doing, man?
Yeah. It's bad. It's disgusting. I mean, $60 million at 27, you got the world by the balls. Your kids are going to be okay if you just invest your money properly. And you're not even close to being done playing. Like you're going to make
the Pistons were about to offer him a 3-year, $42 million extension. And now because of this investigation, they pulled the offer.
There you go. And obviously he was broke. Because if you're making that much, you can't pay off $17,000 in rent or whatever the number was. Like you blew through all your money already. So he blew through the $60 million. But even that, like that's the crazy thing. Because he makes so much money, if you put yourself in a hole and you've made $60 million up to 27, and you're blowing everything and you have no money left, like, damn man, take out a loan and you're going to sign a 3-year, $40 million contract. You can live on that the rest of your life. You can restart. Buy a little house, pay off your debt, pay off the $2 million. It won't even impact you when you got the $40 million check. Live in a little house, pay off your debt. Just go about life making $40 million. Like you already won there. So even if you screwed up for the first 7 years of your career, money wise, you have the chance to just make it back.
You know what's crazy about these people? This is the problem. And I'm not advocating for illegal gambling or anything like that. But let's just be a little bit smarter. You remember when the Alabama baseball coach got fired because he was caught up in this probe? Essentially what had happened was Bama was, I believe they were about to play LSU, and Bama was favored or just better than LSU at the time. I believe that was the situation there. But Alabama's pitcher who was scheduled to go that day, who was their star pitcher, he'd actually gotten injured either during warmups or at practice or something, and nobody knew. So he texts his buddy. He says, "Hey, I've got this information. I'm about to announce that he's getting scratched." And the odds, of course, were going to change. So the guy goes out and he bets, I believe he tried to bet $50,000, either $50,000 or $100,000 at a sports book at the Cleveland Guardians Stadium, actually, on the LSU money line. And of course, they flag it. They don't let him bet more than like $5,000 or something, but they flag it. The pitcher gets scratched and then Alabama loses. It's like, why are you going to make that so obvious? The Jonte Porter stuff, where they had $80,000 worth of parlays on Jonte Porter only props, like Jonte Porter under rebounds, under assists, under points. How obvious are you going to make? You're making it so easy for these watchdogs who do exist. Sports books employ them. Leagues employ them. You got firms like US Integrity. They're watching for this stuff, and you are just handing it to them on a silver platter.
Yeah, and I mean, even Jonte Porter, like Malik Beasley is probably the dumbest one we've seen so far, I would say. That's up there, because Jonte Porter made like $2 million in his career, $3 million. Now again, he had Michael Porter Jr. was breaking in the bank. Like there was money there around the family, but still just dumb. So dumb. Why would you throw it? You work your whole life to get to this point. You're living the good life. Go bet on the NFL. Like, I just don't understand it. Like, I know they just go bet the NFL. Go to the casino.
Josh Hart always tweets about like NFL parlays and stuff like that. And that's totally fine. Just go do that.
Another thing too, with these big bets that come in on these guys, like, you know, if you're betting 100 grand a game, 25 grand, 50 grand a game, like the flags aren't going to go off because you have the history, you have the reputation. But if you're a new dude who just walks up to the counter, it's like, hey, I want $50,000 on a 3-leg Jonte Porter all unders parlay. Like, yeah, something's going to like be a little, hey, you know, how are you connected to Jonte? You know?
I wonder how many of these are going to start to pop up. I agree, Malik. I think the stupidest is probably Luis Ortiz, if it's true, just because he made it so obvious. It maybe stupidest in terms of what he actually did, but in terms of career earnings, Malik Beasley's probably the highest earner that we've seen. So I wonder who's next, because Malik Beasley, $60 million obviously is a ton of money, but Malik Beasley is not exactly like a star. One of these days, there's going to be a star who gets implicated in something.
But this has been going on forever too. I will say that, you know, Michael Franzese?
Yeah.
So he's there. I saw a clip of him, you know, back from his Mafia day, like talking about the Mafia days. And he was like, you know, when we would get these guys, like we would take them down to the club, we would wine and dine them and all this stuff. And then like, hey, you know, whether the local college quarterback, it's like, we're going to bet the spread. Like, we would make sure that they owe us something. They get in a hole. We give them money, like they can't pay it back. And then we say, well, you know, on Saturday, you're going to fumble the first 3 snaps of the game. Like you're just going to do it. And if you don't, I'm going to kill you, you know, like, and that's it's been going on forever in that regard. But when you think of that, it's like these kids just didn't have money and they got caught up with the wrong people. Obviously Malik Beasley and all this is getting caught up with the wrong people, but you made so much money, you have no reason to even entertain that.
I wonder how some of these people even end up meeting these other guys. Are they just, I understand the Mafia targeting your local college quarterback at like a D2 school or whatever. I get all of that. But Malik Beasley, Jonte Porter's not a big name himself. Michael Porter Jr. is a huge name. And their dad was very successful. He was the coach at Missouri, and like they went to this private school where I believe Brandon Roy was their head coach. Brandon Roy is an NBA legend. I just wonder, how do you even get mixed up in this sort of stuff? Do you find them? Do they find you?
It's probably just, hey, we're sitting down and one of your buddies comes to you. It's like, hey, I got this idea. What do you think of this? You know, yep. It's dumb. Whatever it is, it's dumb. I don't know how they come up with it. We're going to start seeing a lot more of it because gambling is so pressing, and like, you know, maintaining the integrity of the game is massive, right? So I think we're going to continue to see more and more of this. It's an issue. Like I ultimately think like you have to get it so the players can bet on themselves. Like what we need to get to at some point is like players can bet on themselves to do good.
Yeah.
Because
you bet on your overs, bet on your team to win. That's fine.
Which again, that's going to kill the integrity of the game too, I think, in a way. But if we get it to that point where it's out there and you need to, what's the word? If you get it to that point and you get it to like where they're betting overs, at least it's public knowledge that they're rooting for themselves to do good and they have a financial interest in doing that. When you have it like that, and honestly, personally for me, and this is my belief, if you play in a professional sports league, one of the core 4 leagues, I don't think you should be allowed to gamble on anything. I don't think you should be allowed to bet on the NFL. I don't think you should be allowed to bet on baseball, NBA. It doesn't matter because you're making amount of money and you're a professional athlete. You should not be betting on other professional athletes. That's just my take.
No, I agree with that. And actually, as I said that kind of out loud, bet the overs, you probably don't want to let them bet the overs because like if a player bets on their points over, they might just take a million shots and their team loses. I think really the only thing you could do is bet on yourself to win.
Bet on the team, bet on the whole team.
The team, win. Yeah.
But then they're going to take it even harder. And it's like, you don't want it to be about the money. I just think if you're playing professional sports, you should not be allowed to gamble. Like you go to the casino, play blackjack, play craps roulette, whatever you want. But if you want to bet on sports so badly where it's costing you your career or where you don't want to play a professional sport, that's fine. Don't play a professional sport. But if you have the privilege and luxury of being a professional athlete, you should not be able to bet on other sports because you also have access to these guys. Like it's crazy that you can go to, an NBA player can go to a party and be with an NFL player and then place a bet on them too. Like I think that's a little wild.
They might share an agent. Yeah, it's a good point.
Like I just think as long as you are legal, like employed by a league, you should not be betting, because it's no fair. Like I think there's rules too for if I'm an MLB employee, like, or I'm an NBA employee, like I can't bet on that league. Like I know you can bet on other leagues, but still, like that's a scrub, not a scrub, but like if you're the social media guy for doing NBA Twitter, like you can't bet on the NBA. So like if they can't bet on the NBA, I think all the athletes shouldn't be able to bet on the other leagues.
I struggle to say that I disagree with you. I also just don't see the point. I know we work in sports betting, but if we acknowledge the fact that 97, 98% of people don't make money in sports betting, if you're making that much money, you're going to be more likely to gamble more money. So why would you even put that out there? Why would you take the risk of losing it? And some people might counter and say, like, I don't gamble to make money. I gamble to have fun. And like, okay, I guess, but it's a one-way path almost to losing a lot of money. So why even do it?
Well, yeah, I mean, go to the casino. I just think because of the access that professional athletes have to each other, they should not be able to bet. Like it's, again, you have NBA players who are best friends with NFL players, and then they can bet on their games. That also just breeds trouble too. So, and again, you need gambling. Like gambling is the greatest thing in the world. It gets people to be interested in events that no one would be interested in. For example, the WNBA. Less people would be. Caitlin Clark has lit the WNBA on fire, but because of the gambling, more people are interested. I will stand on that.
Another thing that people were interested in, and I know we said we were going to get to the NFL division stuff, which we're going to in just a second here, but I feel like we have one more story we need to touch on before we get to that. I just want to ask, where does this rank in the all-time bad weeks that have been happened? Mexican boxer Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. loses to Jake Paul on Saturday. And then I believe on Thursday or Wednesday, he is deported to Mexico by ICE. It's a tough 5-day stretch is what I'll say. I mean, you get your face beaten by a Disney star and then you get sent out of the country.
I mean, let's put some more respect on the problem child's name first, Grant, because the problem child he can fight for the belt now. Too.
Yeah, he's 14th in the is he middleweight, whatever division he is, he can fight for the belt.
Boxing has been destroyed. Number one, there was no doubt who was going to win this fight the entire time. All right, so it doesn't even count as a loss for Chavez, but the big loss is getting deported back because Mexico has an arrest warrant for him. So, no matter what, he was a criminal. So.
He's facing organized crime charges. He's 39 years old, son of a legend, obviously. His attorney says the current allegations are outrageous and simply another headline to terrorize the community. His family issued a statement in support of him. We have full confidence in his innocence. We firmly believe that the proper course is to allow the competent authorities to carry out their work without external pressure or speculation. Chavez had fought just one time since 2021. Before he fought Jake Paul, he struggled with a variety of legal issues, addiction to drugs and alcohol. I was looking at some of his arrest stuff earlier. He'd been in and out of prison, in and out of the authorities. So, I mean, that doesn't make him guilty of the organized crime charges like they are saying back in Mexico, but he does not have a clean record.
But this sounds like Mexico called up Trump. And they were like, hey, Donald, like, let him fight, let him lose, and then bring him back. We want him back in our country because we got to arrest him. That's what it sounds like.
You know what's crazy, too? And it sounds weird to say, but there's a non-zero chance that Trump, ICE, Mexico, whoever was the primary motivation for this someone said during these conversations, let him fight Jake Paul first because that's going to make a lot of money. And then we will go get him.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure that was in there. I mean, they probably didn't want to ruin the fight. I mean, I'm sure, listen, say what you want about Mexico. I'm sure they wanted to see him win the fight, even though he was a criminal. I'm sure they would have rather saw him win the fight. So maybe they made the call after the fight. Who knows? Because this isn't
maybe if he won, they would have let him stay.
this isn't like the typical ICE situation. It seems like Mexico called up. It's like, hey, we want this dude back. Send him to Alligator Alcatraz and bring him back.
Well, Trump wants to have a UFC fight on the White House grounds. Did you see that?
It'd be pretty cool. That would be electric. Like,
it'd be very cool.
July pay-per-view on the White House grounds. No matter what you think about Trump, and I know most of the UFC community is a big Trump fans, but like, no matter what you think about, what would be more patriotic than a bunch of men on the White House lawn on a UFC pay-per-view beating the crap out of each other? That would be like Noche. You know, when they did Noche at the Sphere? This would be like the next level of Noche, but the American version of Noche.
You know what's funny too, just because obviously I'm from the area and I go out there, there are a bunch of rooftop bars and restaurants, everything with a great view of the White House, the Capitol building, all that. So I'm reading an article here. It says they could have 20,000 spectators. You would get tens, maybe even 100,000 of just onlookers from the surrounding areas as well.
It's going to happen someday. It'll happen before Trump's done, because like, he's a big UFC guy. Dana would love to make that happen. Like, that would be, if you did it, especially on the 4th of July. And I don't know if you could do it on the 4th, just because I'm sure everything else going on in Washington. Like, if you did it on the 4th of July weekend, though, like, that would be electric.
So Trump said, so every one of our national parks, battlefields, and historic sites are going to have special events in honor of America's 250th birthday. And I even think we're going to have a UFC fight. Think of this on the grounds of the White House. He said it would be a full fight with 20 to 25,000 people.
That would be electric. The 250th 4th of July is going to be insane. I'm pumped for 249, obviously, but it's not going to.
Do you have to get two Americans to be the title fight, though?
No, it's got to be British versus American. Tom Aspinall. John Jones comes out of retirement to defend or to take the belt back from Tom Aspinall. That would be. You couldn't book a better fight for that.
I mean, I totally agree with you. John Jones is done, but that would be awesome. That would be perfect.
But you kind of need a British versus American main event.
Yeah, you do. That'd be very good.
Patty the Batty could fight, but Ilya, like, you couldn't. Like, that would probably be the timeline when that Ilya Patty fight happens, because I think Patty's got to win one more. Ilya's going to defend against somebody, and then you potentially get that. So maybe that would be the timeline, but I don't care who it is. I mean, all the fighters love Trump. They can be from whatever country that they want. They all love Donald, so it would work out.
I mean, Ilya's Georgian, right? Like, we've got Georgia here. It's that same thing.
He's Georgian. He's Spanish. He's Russian. He's whatever he wants to be on any given day. It seems like I don't know how he went from Georgia, but he's like he's got the Spanish guy. He speaks Spanish. I don't know.
Should we finally 33 minutes into the recording? Should we get to the NFL?
Yeah, probably. Okay, so like we're gonna have to cut down the NFL segment. We're gonna go more in depth on these previews later on, but I think we should just do the win totals for the AL East or AFC East. I'm thinking baseball. Go through them. Like, let's just go through like win, loss, and then we'll look at like what their regular season win is. See if we hit it right on. Then we'll give the pick for the over, the under.
Okay. Your odds to win the division here: you got the Bills at -250. Patriots at 5-1, Dolphins at 7-1, Jets at 16-1. I think Patriots at 5-1. It's just surprising because of what they've been recently, but it does actually make sense. I think these are pretty good odds. The wild card here, interested to get your thought. Wild card is the Miami Dolphins. I literally have no clue what they're going to be this year. They could win 11 games. They could win 5. I've got no idea.
I would be taking the Dolphins over the Patriots in a minute.
Okay, interesting.
I don't know what we're gonna get from the Patriots. Like, I think the Bills will win the division. Obviously, the odds show that, but I just don't know what we're gonna get from the Patriots at this point. You know, like the Red Sox, they were super hyped up this year. They came in, they didn't deliver. We all praise Vrabel. Vrabel has not done a lot. Like, I know Vrabel's a great coach, but like, and I know the situation he was in Tennessee is not good as New England, but like, Vrabel's never won a Super Bowl. Vrabel's never been to the Super Bowl, so we'll see.
You want to start from the bottom? New York Jets, their over-under is set at 5.5 wins.
Okay, so let's pull the schedule up. I think the Jets could be okay this year. Like, I would take the over on 5.5, not even looking at their schedule right now.
Well, let's run through the schedule.
Pittsburgh, loss.
Yep.
Buffalo, loss.
Loss.
Tampa Bay, loss.
At Tampa Bay, loss.
At Tampa Bay, loss. At Miami, loss.
Loss.
Home against the Cowboys, loss.
I'll give it to them just because I don't think they're going to start 0-5. I think somewhere they get a win there.
They'll win one of their first 5. Yeah, I agree with that. Denver at home, Sunday night. They go Sunday night football. No, yeah, Monday night, Sunday afternoon.
Wait, this is at 9:30 a.m. So this is overseas. That's in London.
Loss. Carolina. Let's give them the Carolina win.
I think Carolina could beat them, but okay, we'll give them 2.
I think they should have 2 wins by week 7, right? 2 and 5. Let's just say that. At Cincinnati, they'll get destroyed. Cleveland home.
Beat the Browns.
So that's 3. That's 3 being a little generous for the first 2, but at New England, loss. They never play well in New England. At Baltimore, loss. Home against the Falcons, loss. Home against the Dolphins in December, win. I'll give them a win at that point.
Yep. Tua can't play in the cold.
4. So at Jacksonville, could. That's 5. At New Orleans, potentially. That's 6. Potentially. Home against New England. If they pick up one against New England, they're going to hit it. And then I'll say they versus New England in December, they're going to probably lose that. At Buffalo in a flex game, they're going to lose that. So like 6 is the max you're going to get, I think.
If they split with New England, it could be 7. Yeah.
Yeah.
But we were also a little bit generous with some of those other games. I'm with you. I would probably go over. It's actually, generally speaking, it's usually sharp to go over on the lower teams and under on the higher teams. This team's not great, but like Olufashinu and Membu, 2 young tackles, maybe they're awesome. Maybe they completely solidify the line. Justin Fields is going to give different looks, if nothing else. He had success with Garrett Wilson in college. Like, this defense is still super talented. So I'm with you. 5.5, I would go over. I probably wouldn't go over 6.5, but 5.5, I'd take it.
Yeah, 5.5, I would definitely take that. And again, there's so much room for error. Like I know FanDuel right now too, and this is just a side note, at least on FanDuel. And I don't think we have. I'm in Connecticut, so I don't have the win totals in front of me and all that.
I do. What you need?
There's a segment on FanDuel that has teams to win 2+ games, and they're like all minus about 350 to 400 for the college football. And I'm just like, man, if they play an FCS school, that's 1 game right there. Should be, and then you just got to win 1 more. Like parlay a few of them.
So we got the Miami Dolphins next. Their over-under is at actually, but looking at the odds, it looks like it should be 7.5 wins. However, that's not listed. It's minus 180 for over 6.5, and it's minus 175 for under 8.5. So really, the win total is 7.5. I guess the odds are just off the board right now.
All right, at Indy, that's two in a dome in September. That's a win. That's
money. That's a 400-yard game.
Yeah, that's a big game. Versus New England in September. I think they beat the Patriots week 2.
I do too.
The Patriots don't play well down there, and then New England will beat them in week 18 at home. At Buffalo, that's a loss. So you're starting 2-1 against the Jets. You're starting 3-1 at the Panthers. Probably starting 4-1, I would say. Panthers are going to be better than a lot of people think this year. I still don't think.
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with this. I'll give it to them, but I think the Panthers could be okay.
But like also Bryce Young kind of came out of nowhere last year. Like he sucked and then he got good towards the end. Now we got some film on him being good. Like how good is he actually going to be? That's kind of where I'm at. But 4-1. We'll start in 4-1. Home against the Chargers. I think the Chargers probably beat them.
They beat the Browns.
So you're 4-1, 4-2, 5-2 after week 7 at Atlanta. Probably 6-2.
Could go either way.
Yeah, let's give them the loss there. So let's go 5-3. Then you're going to lose to Baltimore. You're going to lose to Buffalo. 5-3, 5-4, 5-5 at week 10 against Washington. You home. That's in London. That's a could go either way kind of game too, I think, but I'll say it's a loss. 5-6.
Beat the Saints, because Saints, in my opinion, might be the worst team in the league.
Yeah, 6-6 there at the Jets.
We said that's a win for the Jets.
Yeah, so that's 6-7 now. At Steelers, that's 6-8. Then you get home against Cincinnati. That's big. I think you can beat Cincinnati at home in December.
Probably.
You're going to steal one of those games between Cincinnati and Tampa.
Yeah.
So 6-7. So 7-8. Or no, we're missing a game now. So
I think we're at 7-9, and then it's Patriots at the end of the year to determine if it's over or under.
And that's a loss. 7-10.
So so we sound like we're going under 7.5 for the Dolphins there. We got them at 7.
Though one though, like that's not like I'm comfortable taking the Jets over. I'm not comfortable taking the Dolphins under. I wouldn't.
I agree with you on that.
That this could go either way. Like Falcons, that could be a win. Carolina, that could be a win. They could beat the Chargers at home. Like they're probably going to potentially split with Buffalo if they can sling it. They could beat Pittsburgh. We don't know what Pittsburgh is going to look like this year. We don't know what Cincinnati is going to look like. So there's a lot of wild cards on that one.
The New England Patriots over 8.5 plus 105, under 8.5 minus 125.
The New England media has the Patriots as like the greatest thing ever. And it's a lot. It's a lot to go from 3 wins last year, right? 3, I think 3 or 4.
3 or 4, yeah.
To go to 9-8. That's a huge jump. So right off that, I'm a little skeptical. Like a lot of things have to go their way. Raiders is a tight game to start the season. I think they win it.
They could lose it though, because it's funny because I think the Raiders and the Patriots are actually in similar spots in terms of like new, respected, well-established head coaches, lots of roster turnover. Yet the Patriots are getting all the hype and the Raiders are getting nothing. I don't know if that's like a division thing because the AFC West is harder than the AFC East, but the Raiders could have a nice turnaround. They could win 7 or 8 games this year.
The Patriots could start 3-1 as easily as they could start 1-3. So let's go worst case scenario for the Patriots. Let's start in worst case. Vegas, loss. I mean, they're like a 2-point favorite, I think. At Miami, we're going to call that a loss. Home against Pittsburgh, loss. Beat Carolina at home.
Beat the Panthers.
So let's go 1-3. Let's go worst case scenario for them. You're going to lose at Buffalo. I'm going to give them a split with Buffalo, but they're going to lose at Buffalo. So that's going to be 1-4 now.
And this is where the run starts here.
Then you go win against the Saints. You're going to freaking destroy the Tennessee Titans. So you're 2-4, 3-4. You're going to destroy the Browns. So now you're back to 4-4. Then you go Atlanta. I think you beat Atlanta.
At home, that's a tough game, but they could win that.
5-4. All right. You lose to Tampa Bay, 5-5. Beat the Jets, 6-5.
Lose to the Bengals.
You beat them last year, but 6-6.
Well, that's kind of a week 1 thing, yeah.
Giants on Monday Night Football, 7-6. Bills, I got to give them a win against the Bills, but I won't for the sake of this. So say they get swept by the Bills.
Okay.
7-7. At Baltimore, 7-8. At the Jets in December, 8-8. Home against Miami, that's 9-8. That was worst case scenario. We got them at 9-8.
Yeah, 10-7 could actually be on the board here. Now, if Drake May doesn't develop, we've seen talent. We haven't seen production, but we've excused that because he's been in a bad situation. It's very possible that he's actually not good, or he doesn't put it together for whatever reason, and they go 5-12 again, and they're looking for a new quarterback.
Yeah, I mean that's worst case scenario though, and we got him at 9-8.
9-8.
Worst case. That's not stealing a game against Buffalo. That's beating everybody you should and losing the games you're not supposed to win, plus the tight games.
Like, I think I'm still most comfortable with the Jets over, but I like that better than the Dolphins under.
I'm pretty comfortable with the Patriots now too, but you don't want a win total to come down to the last week of the season. Like you really don't want to bet those. All right, who's the last one?
The Buffalo Bills over 11.5 wins minus 155, under 11.5 wins plus 130. That's Bills. The Bills, I want to say they've gone over this total. Let me see here. So they've gone over this. It's alternated. They went 10-6 under, 13-3 over, 11-6 under, 13-3 over, 11-6 under, 13-4 over.
Like, quick glance at their schedule, 11-6 seems pretty good.
Well, let's go through it.
Starts with the first week of the season. Like, I think Baltimore is going to beat them week 1.
Yeah, agreed.
I think Baltimore is going to blow them off the field week 1, especially coming off last year. Get Mark Andrews' touchdown catch, blow them. So you're 0-1. You're going to beat the Jets. You're 1-1. You beat the Dolphins. You're 2-1. Beat the Saints. That's 3-1. Beat the Pats 4-1. Beat the Falcons 5-1.
Beat the Panthers 6-1.
Josh Allen owns Mahomes in the regular season 7-1.
Yeah.
At Miami, I'm going to give it to the Dolphins there. I'm going to say they're going to lose. I think they're going to lose 2 games in that stretch. So,
sure. Yeah.
What, 8-2 now we're at?
7-2.
7-2. Tampa at home. Like, that's not an easy game, but I'll give it to them. So 8-2.
Yep.
At Houston, I think you slip up in the Tampa or the Houston game.
I agree.
So what are we at? 8-2.
8-3.
At Pittsburgh in November. Depends on what Steelers team you're getting.
I would honestly give that to the Steelers.
Okay, so you're going to be 8-3 now.
8-4.
8-4. Home against Cincinnati.
Beat the Bengals.
That's a tough game though.
It's a tough game, but it's at home.
9-4, right?
Yep.
At New England in December. Like, we didn't give it to the Patriots before, but like that game could easily go to the Patriots if they're doing what they're expected to do at that point. So let's give it to the Bills though. So we're 10-4.
Beat the Browns.
11-4 versus Philly. Let's call it a loss, but they could easily be a win. 11-5 against the Jets. So you're 12 wins right there.
Yeah, 12 wins, and I honestly think they could beat the Eagles too.
Yeah, and they could beat the Ravens week 1.
So we have, if I'm remembering this correctly, we have the Jets at 7-10. We had the Dolphins at 7-10. We had the Patriots at 9-8, and we had the Bills at 12-5.
That's probably what it's going to be. Pretty close.
That's a good division. If your worst team is 7-10.
Yeah, I think it's a competitive division. I think the Bills are just leaps and bounds better than everybody. But like, looking at the schedule, the Bills should easily win the AFC East without even a thought.
Oh, the AFC East, yeah, but I mean, they're not worried about that. They're worried about the number 1 seed. They are the favorite to get the number 1 seed. It's them at plus 360, Ravens at plus 370, Chiefs at plus 390, and then you drop to the Bengals at plus 1,000. The Bills, according to strength of schedule, have the 5th easiest schedule in the NFL. Patriots are 2nd, Dolphins are 9th, and the Jets are 16th.
That first week of the season, though, is going to be really tough. Like, that game ultimately could decide the number 1 seed just because of the head-to-head.
100%.
So, anyways, Grant, that was Ride the Line.
It was Ride the Line. It was a good one. It took us 30 minutes to get going, but it was fun.
We had some good talks. We gave our national anthem. We talked about Chavez. We talked about UFC on the lawn, on the White House lawn. That would be epic. We got to make that happen.
It would be pretty cool. I'm just trying to figure out logistically how they would even do it. Like, how do you even get the camera guys? How do you get the TV companies there? But if they figured it out, it would be fun.
The 20,000 would be invite only. I don't think you could sell tickets for it.
Oh, of course. It's going to be, you're going to get diplomats and rich people and some of Trump's golfing buddies and
fighter families. Like, you're not going to get much more than fighters. So anyways, that was Ride the Line. Take us out of here.
It was Ride the Line, guys. Before we get out of here and before you get out of here, jump on down, hit that subscribe button so you are locked in for every upcoming episode. Hit the like button if you did enjoy. Make sure you check out the World Sports Network at WSN.com. Tanner and I will catch you all in the next episode, and we will see you soon. Happy birthday, America.
Happy birthday, America.